like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance.
7 o'clock in the morning.
Just lay down.
Now.
It's 7 a.m.
It's 7 a.m. Time for the opening drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico
For 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Well, you got a coach. What do you know about him? Probably not a bunch, other than you've read his record, you've seen his dance moves on the Twitter. You'll get to meet him today. Will you give him a chance? Will you warm up to him, and will you allow yourself the time? Will you have, I almost laughed, patience? And do you feel he's the guy? And maybe you'll feel differently here in the next hour and a half or so. Good morning, boys and girls, and Merry Monday. Welcome to the opening drive. Thank you for being with us this morning. Hope you had a great weekend. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck, how you living?
What it do?
You all right?
All right.
How was the weekend?
It's good.
Yeah.
How was yours?
Working. It's that time of year. But it's good. It was really good. Interesting. I mean, so much going on. But you had a big game yesterday. Ladies beat Pepperdine 82-59. A little heated. A little interesting one, huh?
Got back on track in a big way yesterday. Sunday in the Pit's been good for the Lobos last 2 times they played there.
Yeah, certainly a good day out there. All right, so Friday night it starts to surface. I think it was Friday afternoon that Jason Eck was the leader in the clubhouse, at least at that point, for the UNM football coaching job. And his team gets knocked out of the FCS football playoffs. On Friday night, they lose to the top seed Montana State, and it surfaced early on on Saturday that there was a done deal, and Jason Eck is now the new head coach of Lobo football. Guy spent 3 years at Idaho, was 26-13 for a program that, since Rob Akey won that Was it still a Humanitarian Bowl back then? When he won, it was a famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Remember when Rob won? And it was a big celebration up there when they won a bowl game. He's now the defensive coordinator at Central Michigan. But they haven't done much. They dropped down. What was your impression initially, and has it changed at all?
Well, my impression was, okay, this is a candidate that wasn't on my radar.
Yeah.
Does not mean a thing. Like, doesn't mean it's a bad hire. Doesn't mean it's a good hire. I think it's one that you start learning about. A football guy played offensive line at Wisconsin, worked his way up multiple stops to earn this opportunity. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table, what kind of energy he can get back into this fan base, and really interested in his philosophy and his style, what he wants to try to do versus working with kind of what becomes available for him in the transfer portal and recruiting a team. And I know Fernando Lobo, the new athletic director, said that one of the things he likes about Jason Eck is he's a program builder, not a team builder. You can't really be a program builder in this day and age.
It's really interesting with that. I read that and I'm like, okay, that's the way it used to be, man. But this is a year-to-year game. Look at the portal. Ask Marshall how they feel about that, right? How do you build a program with the portal that guys are going into? And I guess the answer is you've got to be active in the portal and be building through the portal and building a program. And I think that's a really fair observation on your part.
And so I'm interested to talk to Coach Eck about his thoughts on that. And one of the first photos you saw was him and who else but Kurt Roth when he landed. So that's what you have to have, is that relationship there, because until there's a new timeline on the transfer portal, doesn't mean it's not going to change things. But you look at how it's affecting bowl season, name, image, and likeness. Like, that's how you put a team together.
Yeah. He's going to have to become a team builder if he's not. And we're going to talk to him at 8:00. So your first time you'll hear Jason Eck is in regards to being the New Mexico head coach will be this morning at 8:00. He will be with us here on the Sports Animal. And those are a few things, when Fernando says he's not a team builder, with all due respect, I hope he is a team builder. In addition to being a program builder.
I understand why you say that.
Yeah.
Like, bringing him here for the long run, but college athletics has changed where it's year to year with what you're doing.
And I've told you over the years, I am very aware of the difference between having a good team and a good program, right? Anybody can hit lightning in a bottle and have a good team one year, and then the program goes back to being what the program has been. And so I think, with all due respect, I think you got to be both. And I think Lobo fans are hoping you're going to be a team builder, because I'm not sure how much patience, to reset and say, well, but we're 2-10 this year, but we had to build it from scratch, which might even be true, right? But I don't know where the patience is going to come after what you've been through over the last 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. So I'm interested in it. JJ, there's a lot of things I like. I've heard from a number of people he's very different from Bronco Mendenhall, and you always tend to go right one extreme to the other, okay? And you went like let's just, in regards to community, in regards to media, in regards to outreach, in regards to embracing this community. Is it fair to say Bronco Mendenhall and Danny Gonzalez were like 180 degrees apart?
Yes.
Right? One guy loved this community, wanted to be here, was everywhere, didn't win enough to keep the job. The next guy won one more game than Danny, and would show up for the events. He had to show up for a few minutes and then leave, and that was his thing. I've said this, and this isn't because I hear Jason Eck is really personable, and you're going to like him. How many people did you hear? And I want you to hear this in the vein it's said, okay? Because I want to make it very clear. I believe Bronco Mendenhall is a very good football coach, okay? And I think Bronco Mendenhall did a good, I'm not going to sit here and tell you great, tremendous, unbelievable. I think he did a good job in his 1 year here. How many people did you hear say, man, he's a really good dude? How many people did you hear say, well, I'm going to really miss Bronco? He's just a really good dude.
The way he went out, not a lot.
right? And when Danny left, you heard a lot of, man, I'm going to miss Danny. I really like Danny. It's too bad it didn't work. And again, I'm not telling you which way it's got to go because Danny didn't win. And Bronco, by the way, won one more game than Danny Gonzalez did. So this guy coming in, if he's going to embrace it, and it sounds like he will, and hopefully at some point this community embraces him. I've told you a zillion times, and I'm going to talk to him about this. Just because you don't know about something or somebody doesn't mean that it's not good or they're not good. And we're going to see. And time's going to tell. And I don't know how much time you're going to give Jason Eck to turn it around. I don't know if you're going to support him right away. I hope you would support Lobo football right off the top. Are they going to win their first game? He opens up at the Big House, man. They'll be in Michigan next year to open things up. What kind of roster will he have? I'm looking forward to just some of the things I'm asking him. What's your priority? Maybe the answer is yes. Is it re-recruiting guys who are in the portal and are here? Is it recruiting the portal? Is it putting together a staff? Is it finding the bathroom? Right?
All the above.
I think all the answers are probably yes, right? As that goes. But I hope people give him a chance. And I thought that in regards to where the fan base was and the way this went down, I thought that Fernando kind of needed to make a splash hire. Okay, whatever. Splash hire means you know who it is. It's a big name. And again, I'm going to tell you again, just because it's not a familiar name to you does not mean it won't.
And it doesn't. In this, like you said, you have to give it an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because a splash hire, what have we seen?
Left in a year. In a year.
Yeah. And also and I really wasn't sold on a Tom Herman or anything like that.
Right.
Okay, and so that's why I was open.
Matt Wells would have been nice.
Matt Wells.
Yeah.
When we were having discussions, he's the guy that came to the top of my list.
Me too.
But then you hear his reasoning.
Yeah, I get it.
You're like, absolutely. You have a good job in his family.
Yeah.
Totally understand. Well, now guess what? You have a coach that is taking this job, uprooting his 5 kids and coming into Albuquerque. And I do wonder if the way Bronco left, it ignites the fan base a little bit.
I hope
more.
so. No, I hope so. I like that.
To get them involved. Because, yes, you need a product to go out to. At the end of last year, I still think of that Washington State game. I'm like, you have a whole lot to play for, and there was no one there. So what was the disconnect there? They weren't buying into this team.
I just didn't think they didn't think they could win
at that moment in time.
I just don't think the Lobo fan base thought they could win that game, and I think a lot of people wish they were there now.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't here when this happened, but someone who was made the comparison for me over the weekend. And those of you who were here, I'd love your thoughts. Somebody said to me, it's very much like when Dennis Franchione got the job, that it wasn't a big name. It was a guy that people didn't know. And obviously Dennis came in and did a good job and left for TCU, then Alabama, then Texas A&M. I don't know if I'll leave it on those of you who were here. Is there a similar feel to that? Because Fran did a heck of a job here, always had ties to this community, took you to your first bowl game since 1960. That was in 1997. It was the 1963 Aviation Bowl, I think, was the first bowl game or the last bowl game before the Lobos went to the Insight.com Bowl in 97. So I'm looking forward to talking to Jason Eck and learning not just and JJ, not why this was the right job for him, but I will ask him the question because I think this is the one thing that Lobo fan wants to know. And if he's listening with Frank or something, I'll give him a heads up on this. But, and I hope it's taken again in the vein in which it's asked. For a Lobo fan who does not know who Jason Eck is, why not only why is this the right job for Jason Eck, but why is Jason Eck the right person for this job? Right? Because you look at it, you say, well, there's not a lot of ties. Who did he lean on? Who did he ask? Did he call anybody? Did he know anybody that's familiar with the job? Why is he right for this? And how's this thing going to come together? And how long do you think? Honestly, is this starting from scratch or is it? And I think a lot of it will depend how much he can keep together of what's left on that roster and what's in the portal.
Yeah, it's what's left in the portal is going to be a ton. You can build an entire new roster with the portal.
But what about the guys who are from New Mexico in the portal? They can still come back to you.
They could.
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody
your
thinks
best players are gone.
I
Luke
understand.
Weissong's going to Arizona.
Nick Trujillo's going to Louisiana Monroe. Devin Dampier's at Utah. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. You are conveniently forgetting all the losses Danny had that piled up to the ceiling before his 4-8 year. He was here for 3 horrific years before that converted to a 4-8 season, which, according to you, he was on the cusp of figuring it out finally. Look, man, what did I say? He was real good in the community, didn't win enough to keep his job. I'm not conveniently forgetting a damn thing. But whatever. I mean, you're in a much better place now, obviously. Obviously, you're in a much better place. All right, so we're going to do that at 8:00. Jason Eck is scheduled to be with us. Nick Carparelli at 9:00, the executive director of Bowl Season, the formerly named Football Bowl Association. I'm going to talk to him about college football bowls, and I just thought it was really timely with Marshall pulling out of a bowl game this weekend. What a mess that was on Saturday. And it's still not perfect, but at least they found somebody at the Independence Bowl that will play Army, and there will be that bowl game. But what? And again, who's they to fix it? How does it get fixed? And we got a big NFL weekend. Oh man, Lions and Bills, Chiefs and Browns with Mahomes going down. Washington, New Orleans was crazy. Huge win for the Broncos. The Eagles get a big win. We got a lot to do in the NFL as well. Area code 505-246-0610 is how to get here. 505-246-0610. Your emails will come in. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. On the X, it's _JJ Buck. And on the video side, you can watch us on our Facebook, the OD and the AM. Adrian's producing on ProView Networks, Xfinity Channel 26, and the YouTube channels for ProView Networks. Get some of what you're already saying this morning about Jason Eck. Get into the NFL as well. That's when we come back. Hey, I know you're shopping for gifts, and I know it's getting a little late. If you're in the jewelry game, there is only one place, and it is John Thomas Jewelers, the best jeweler in town. They were even voted the coolest jewelry store in America by In-Store Magazine. Why? You'll find out right when you walk in. You go to the 3rd floor of the Lewis University building. It's right across the street from the mall on Louisiana, 1 block south of Manal. 3rd floor, Lewis University building. They've got their own state-of-the-art, unbelievable design center. So they'll create whatever you want, whether it's a ring, a pendant, whatever it is. They've got over 3,000 ladies and men's bridal rings on hand for you to try on. And they offer the only free lifetime nation warranty available in Albuquerque. So they will make any ring you can dream of. It's warranted all across America. They are a 5-star Google-rated full-service jeweler, the only one in town, fastest-growing jeweler in New Mexico, and voted the best jeweler in Albuquerque 4 straight years. Go see for yourself why John Thomas Jewelers is your only stop when you're looking for jewelry. 2440 Louisiana Northeast, Suite 310. It's the 3rd floor of the Lewis University building on Louisiana, 1 block south of Banal. JohnThomasJewelers.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at NewMexicoBowl.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Oh, I hate fantasy football. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. You're coming in this morning, 505-246-0610. That's the phone line and the text line. Jason Eck is your new head football coach at the University of New Mexico, scheduled to be with us coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. The text line says, fellas, my family from South Dakota, somehow who played there, I don't know where there is, said we're getting an amazing man and coach, and they loved having him there. I'm excited. It's from Steve. Okay. Another one says, when is the ECK introductory press conference? Thanks. It's tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the pit, the upper level of the pit. I've heard nothing but great things about the dude, right? Which, I mean, there's some encouraging stuff to that, and you're like, whatever, man. I don't care if he's a good dude. Can he coach? I mean, I think so. Does what matter, or does what happened at Idaho matter? That's what got him this job, right?
Of course it matters. And part of this game, even in name, image, and likeness, is being able to connect and get people interested in your program.
Sid says, nothing like Coach Sham. Mr. Symbieta, when Coach Sham was hired, Lobo fans knew he was always going to have his radar up. First decent season, he was going to get the hell out. that chilly Saturday against crummy Tulsa. Oh, we were talking about Coach Fran. I didn't know who the hell we were talking about. That decent season, he was that chilly Saturday against crummy Tulsa. There were rumors going around University Stadium. They were already moving trucks at his house, despite guys like Rudy and Leonard Sanchez trying to claim he was still committed to the program. On Saturday, the most frequent thing I heard was Jason who? Sid.
And that obviously that means nothing, man.
Yeah.
It's I got that a lot too. People on social media like, this is so underwhelming. What's underwhelming? Because you don't know every football coach in the nation.
What's underwhelming is you don't know who he is.
You didn't hire a coach that's been fired other places before.
Yeah, look, I understand the underwhelming thing. I do. You just don't know who he is, and that's where I go into this splash hire, the wow hire thing. That there were some people who just needed to hear that. You just saw UNLV in your league hire Dan Mullen. You know who he is. You've seen the success he's had at Mississippi State, and he was at Florida, right? Last year, you made a splash hire. You hired Bronco Mendenhall. That was a wow hire, right? It was considered in all the publications the best offseason hire in college football, right? So when you don't know something, again, you don't know if it's any good. And he might or might not be. I mean, time's going to tell. But I do understand where people are coming from. They're like, what? I mean, even Kirby Moore. Now, I don't know if he's better or not than Kirby Moore, okay? But
Kirby Moore would have been that same.
But you knew the name a little bit, well, because you knew
don't
Kellen.
Know Kirby Moore.
You knew he's
They know
Kellen's
Kellen
brother.
Moore.
Well, but again, there's an association to it. I'm not telling you who's going to be better. That's hardly what I'm saying.
At this point, you just. I'm excited because I just look at someone that went through the absolute grind.
Yeah.
From playing offensive line at Wisconsin to, all these positions, like looking at Idaho, Winona State, Ball State, Hampton, Western Illinois. It's like just grinding his way up and to a place that went down from FCS football to FCS. Not like they have a ton of resources available. And this was 2018 when Idaho dropped it around there. And then he comes into the Vandals goes 7-5, 9-4, 10-4, gets them to the FCS postseason. You give him some resources, some name, image, and likeness at the D1 level. I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah. So the shtick on Lobo Hobo shtick, right? He knows fans from everything. Whenever the Lobos are playing, so he's sitting with their fan base. So Lobo Hobo was talking with Idaho fans. How many Idaho fans? Just I'm curious. You know any? I know a couple because I lived up in the Pacific Northwest, but I wasn't talking to them this weekend. But Lobo Hobo was talking with Idaho fans on Saturday, and he says, "Tell me if these comments sound familiar." I guess that's what he heard. We thought Eck would eventually leave, but we expected it to be a bigger, better program. He might have stayed around Moscow longer if fans had supported Vandal football, but we drew only 9,800 on senior night to the 15,000-seat Kibbe Dome. Okay, 15,250 is capacity of the Kibbe Dome. You ever been to the Kibbe Dome?
No.
That's a bizarre venue. I called a game there one time. It's like a big warehouse up on top of the hill at campus. It's cool. I liked it. All right, if that's what you heard. So he's saying that's what it sounds like here, right? We thought Bronco would go to a better program. We knew he would leave, but it would be better. Oh, there were only that many people for a while. Okay. Right. That's what his buddies were telling him. I'll get there with that one. Requirements for new Mountain West Conference members, Jeff. Are teams like UTEP required to upgrade their cheerleader and gold digger? Come on. All right. Looking forward to the conversation. I am. I want to hear what he has to say. And I think that you guys are going to, I think, like the personality. But I understand where the fan base is. It's going to be, I've been jilted so much, it's going to be a wait and see. And, are you willing to sit through a couple of rebuilding years? And it's going to be a tough question, right? And how quickly can you turn this thing around with the portal? We'll see. We'll see how he recruits. We'll see what the staff's going to look like. All right, let's get some NFL done when we get back because Jason X is going to be with us at 8 o'clock this morning when we come back. Big news out of the NFL was Patrick Mahomes' injury and the Bills and Lions game. And Dan Campbell going for an onside kick with 10 minutes or whatever it was left to go. And the Broncos winning. And, there's a lot of hands. We'll get through the NFL next. Want to hear your thoughts on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
For more than 50 years, Clark.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. ProView Networks.
Sports Animal.
Bills 48, Lions 42. Was that a Super Bowl preview? Might be. Chiefs beat the Browns. Patrick Mahomes goes down, and they've got 2 games in the next week and a half to the Chiefs. They get a short turn and play on Saturday, and then they turn it around again on a Wednesday on Christmas Day. And his ankle's hurt. What do you do with him? Washington holds on. And Spencer Rattler and the New Orleans Saints almost came back. Huge win for the Broncos over the Colts. The Packers rip Seattle. Eagles over the Steelers. And did you see what the Buccaneers did to the Chargers? Oh, the Cowboys won. Lots to do out of the NFL. 505-246-0610. I do think the biggest story, obviously, is Mahomes' ankle. Unsure about the availability going forward after the game last night. He said it was he'll know more tomorrow. He'll wake up and he'll figure out his. Did you see the play? Dude got bent in a way that dudes should not get bent.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a lingering ankle issue. And if you're Kansas City in this stretch, there's a strong possibility you don't see Patrick Mahomes for 2 games. And because you have to think about what is best for Kansas City making another run in the postseason. And now you want to get that 1 seed. But is this going to be something that, hey, give him a this week where he doesn't have to play back-to-back games in a Saturday, Wednesday split? Or do they realize, man, it's bad enough that it's going to linger? So you just play him? Because right now they're 13-1.
Yeah. And the Bills
are 11-3. Yeah. And so you have a little
so you got a cushion.
Bit of a cushion.
I don't play him in both. I'm going to tell you that right now. If he's not 100%, and I know that they're both big network games, right? Did
it's
Netflix
Saturday.
has one and Peacock has one?
Well, it's NBC, but it's this holiday game Saturday against the Houston Texans, and then Christmas Day on Netflix.
With all due respect, I care more about my quarterback and my
the NBA. Where
I get
you're
it.
Going to get fined for sitting a star player.
What's more important to you, getting the 1 seed? Because you got to win. If you figure the Bills are going to win out, you got to win 2 of your last 3 to get the 1 seed. You play the Texans, and then 2 on the road, at Steelers, at Broncos. What's more important? And to me, it's an easy answer, and I think it is to everybody. Getting the 1 seed, having everything come through your place, or not having the 1 seed, maybe having to go through Buffalo or Baltimore, but having your quarterback healthy.
And they went.
It's easy, right?
On the road last season, got it done.
They did. They did.
About having that guy healthy.
Buffalo's path the rest of the way. Patriots, Jets, Patriots.
They could end up with the 1 seed.
Well, they got to win out, and Kansas City's got to lose twice. Kansas City can lose twice.
And that's entirely possible when you have Houston, Pittsburgh, and Denver.
Right.
If Patrick Mahomes isn't.
And if it's Carson Wentz. Yeah. So, again, my priority is getting my quarterback straight. My priority is making sure that my quarterback is healthy, because I'm not going to the Super Bowl without him. Last year I went to the Super Bowl without being the number 1 seed. Now, I think this is a different version of Buffalo. I just do. I don't know if they can stop people. They gave up 44 last week and 42 this week. They split those games because they scored 42 they gave up 44 last week. They've scored 42 and 48. But it was gruesome. What'd you make of the Bills? Because everybody's on Dan Campbell. Can I tell you, I don't hate the Dan Campbell thing as much as everybody else does. They were down by, 10?
He's telling you that they had zero chance of stopping Josh Allen.
Well,
with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
With all due respect, I'm not sure I think he's wrong. They punted 1 time. I don't like it, okay? I wouldn't have done it at that point, the onside kick with 10 minutes to go. But I understand it. And
it turned into an absolute disaster when they returned it.
It did. They returned it, and it turned out bad. 5. And by the way, you still were almost there at the end. It doesn't turn out well, and so when things don't turn out well, it's a bad call. I get it, and I was surprised when they did it, and I would not have done it. But knowing who that dude is, and it was on brand, and he's not wrong, man. They didn't stop them all day. What makes you think that they were going to, and in his mind, His defense, they're all beat up. He's lost 3 starters. Josh Allen was anything they wanted to do, right? They had they had 559 yards of offense. Did Buffalo. Now, your quarterback threw for 473 yards and 5 touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over and lost. But you're trailing, you're chasing. I didn't like it's not what I would have done, but I didn't think it was as egregious as the world's making out.
With 10 minutes left, you can't make that call.
All right.
Because then you give them a 5-yard
Well,
field.
you gave him a 5-yard field.
You held them to a field goal the next possession they had.
Yeah, you got to cover it better. So you'd have given him a 50-yard field instead of a 5-yard field. You got to cover it better. I mean, I don't know. Did anybody?
That's the last touchdown they scored in the game for Buffalo.
Yeah, they kicked a field goal on their next possession. Now, I don't love it. I'm not as angry as the rest of it. So you think they win the game if he doesn't do that?
No, I think you give yourself like one more defensive opportunity. There were 10 minutes left.
Yeah, I understand.
You give him a short field.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't have done it. I didn't love it in the moment. I'm not as just appalled as everybody in the world is. And by the way, so they lost a game. They had won 11 in a row. Is that right? 12 in a row.
Yeah, the Detroit and Buffalo are 2 teams you look at, and they have the absolute highest ceiling of anyone in the NFL offensively. And you just keep your fingers crossed that the defensive game plan can be there. The Lions have lost so many defensive players. Potentially, the 3 that they lost yesterday, the defensive linemen, 2 secondary players, it's potential that that's season ending. At some point, you're just not going to overcome that.
Yeah.
But
and that's kind of what that was.
You're Buffalo and Detroit. You're in this, hey, we have to play shootout football games. And they got offenses that they can absolutely do that. Because what Josh Allen has done the last couple weeks is insane.
Who's the best defense of the AFC contenders? Is it Pittsburgh?
Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City. Okay. And I wouldn't say that they're a great defense, would you? They're a good defense.
I don't think there's a great defense this year.
There isn't. Even in the NFC, right?
I think the best of that group is Philadelphia.
What if I told you I thought, well, you would tell me that the Broncos aren't contenders. What if I told you I think the best defense of the AFC might be the Broncos?
Yeah, I would say I do. Hey,
honestly,
yes, but then I'm like the one really good team they played. The Ravens scored 41 points on them.
They did.
I think the Broncos defense. You have to factor in they played Jameis Winston and Anthony Richardson the last 2 weeks.
That was my choice, by the way, yesterday.
And I think you give them credit, but then I also did watch Jameis Winston, even though he turned the football over. How many yards did Jerry Jeudy have?
I
200 plus in that game.
In that game, yeah. That was one of those, right? I feel this way about those comeback games, so those revenge games when a guy's playing against a place that feels that he was done wrong. But
they're taking care of business, but it's hard for me to look at Denver and say, no, that is a defense that it could be a reason they win a playoff game.
All right. I got a break here. I'll just give you the 3-for-all results.
Killed it.
You did?
You did.
Did I hit? I went 2-1. Oh no, I went 3-0, didn't I?
3-0.
I did. I went 3-0 again. Holy smokes! I had Dallas +3. That was easy. They won. They won gigantic. I had Green Bay -2.5. They won. And I had Arizona, and I laid the 6, and I won that there. Holy smokes! I went 3-0.
Heater,
dude. So I'm 8-1 in the last 3 weeks. 3-0 makes me 28-19-1.
Wow. Take this man's advice.
Why am I not going and rolling down to my friends at Atlanta? All right, you lose on Washington, right? -8.
Goodness. Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
Right there. Game breaker. Dropped it.
But you won with Kansas City, and you won with the Jets. Didn't you? What was the Jets score?
30-25.
Yeah, so you won with that. You laid 3.5. So you were 2-1. Right? So that gets you to 22-26. All right. 28-19-1 is decent, though, right?
That's very good.
Why am I not cashing in on these? Yeah, dude. 3-0, 3-0, 2-1. That's 8-1 in the last 2 weeks. All right. As soon as I start laying the shekels down, it turns. Jason Eck, your new Lobo football coach, is going to be with us coming up at the top of the hour. That means 8 o'clock. So that's in 15 minutes from now. Looking forward to that conversation with the new head football coach at the University of New Mexico. When we get back, I want to get into the Eagles and Steelers stuff. The Packers. It would say more last night about the Packers or about Seattle. And that puts the Rams into the playoffs as of now. 505-246-0610. Going to a party? I bet you want it to be at the Albuquerque Convention Center. You've been to events there, haven't you? Whether it's conventions, whether it's a small gathering, whether it's a reception, a meeting, it's the Albuquerque Convention Center. Right there in the heart of downtown Albuquerque with the diverse layouts that will fulfill every party planner's desire. So if you are planning an event, check out the Albuquerque Convention Center. They have over 600,000 square feet of versatile meeting space. It will accommodate events of every size, anything imaginable, everything you need from 10 people to 20,000 people. You will book your dream event right at the center of it all. They've got an incredible staff that will go above and beyond. Wonderful menu. They will make it fit whatever it is you're looking for. We take the student athletes for the Isleta New Mexico Bowl there every year. They will be there this year, next week, in fact, for an event at the Albuquerque Convention Center. Why? Because they treat our guests the way we need our guests to be treated. And yours will be treated incredibly well. It'll be the event that everybody's glad they're at. It's the Albuquerque Convention Center. You're thinking about planning an event? We've got your venue. Be at the center of it all. Go to albuquerquecc.com. Take a look at them. Albuquerque CC, or give them a call. 505-768-4575. 505-768-4575. It's the Albuquerque Convention Center. Be at the center of it all.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at NewMexicoBowl.com.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66, Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal, to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by
12 Days of Jerseys continues. We do have a mystery box to give away also today from All In Autographs. It'll contain a signed jersey. From whom? Hence your mystery, boys and girls. We'll do that coming up at 9:25 this morning. Keep you sticking around for a minute for that one. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610 if you want to get in. Your emails coming in, Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com and JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ, I believe at 9 o'clock we're going to talk to Nick Carparelli, the executive director of bowl season. And we saw the issue go down with Marshall over the weekend. And I had been hearing whispers on days that Marshall, with the head coaching change in the portal, was not going to have enough players to play, and they pulled out of their bowl game. Louisiana Tech's going to go in there at 5-7 and play Army. Do you think? Look, this is a bad look for everybody. There's nobody who comes out looking good in this. Marshall and the Sun Belt Conference, I think, really are the ones who should never have committed to a bowl game if they couldn't play, but B, it makes the whole system look bad. Do you think this will be impetus to initiate some move with the portal?
I absolutely hope it does, because this is not good for the players, the programs, and the sport as a whole. You just saw Penn State lose a backup quarterback, like their number 2 quarterback, to the transfer portal. And in the statement from the player, he said, I don't want to do this, but I have to, because this is the window. And you're like, well, just stay committed to your team. See it out. But he obviously feels like he's going to go somewhere else, get an opportunity to start. That wasn't path forward at Penn State. But you're talking about the number 2 player on a college football playoff team on your roster that's piecing out because he has to, because the window's here.
Yeah.
This is bad for the sport. Because it just pushes everything so fast. These coaches feel like they have to leave. They have to start recruiting. Like the amount of changes we see in college athletics, that these schools change conferences, are willing to put students on airplanes for 7 hours just so they can have a little bit better media deal overall, that you can figure out getting these student athletes involved in school and not like, well, semester started, we can't figure it out. You can. This is an archaic idea, and with the changes in college athletics, they want college football to be successful and the college football playoff, who's getting affected by this, to matter. Move the transfer portal window.
Period. And I think to your point, it's not just affecting bowl games. The easy answer, they get rid of the bowl games. No. Because, by the way, it's not affecting all of them. It is affecting all of them, but not to that level. But why? Tell me again why you feel there's too many bowl games. Why 10-3 Louisiana shouldn't have a chance to play in the postseason against 8-4 TCU? And again, I'll tell you 100 times, if it's not your thing, don't watch it, man. But millions of people will. They do. Right? The answer is, you got to get... No, that's not the answer. Let's take away the experience from the thousands of student athletes who opt into bowl games because some are opting to get in the portal. No, to your point, the answer is it seems easy. Move the damn portal. Right?
Don't be scared about this, because the NCAA is scared about everything. And this is one, too, where I look at the players and I'm like, this will benefit you. Like, stop opting out of an opportunity to play in a postseason game.
And put out more tape.
Just say, hey, we understand that you have absolutely everything that you've won, but this would be good for the players and the sport as a whole to move this transfer window.
All right, when we come back, you will meet the new head football coach at the University of New Mexico. Jason Eck was hired on Saturday. The former Idaho coach is in Albuquerque. He's working, man, but he's going to take a few minutes to talk to you. Jason Eck next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico
For 5 years running.
It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Well, you got your guy, Lobo fan, and he's got you. Jason Eck is the new head football coach at the University of New Mexico. Got into town last night. Just got done with the Idaho Vandals run in the playoffs at the FCS level. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. We'll get back to your phone calls and comments coming up here in a little bit, but looking forward to meeting and letting you hear from the new head football coach at Jason Eck, or at the University of New Mexico, Jason Eck. Got into town last night, and I'm going to guess, probably just figuring out, man, what's this altitude all about? I heard about green chili. Where's the bathroom? What's my roster look like? And who do these idiots I got to talk to on the phone this morning? Appreciate you spending some time with us. Jason Eck is the new head coach at UNM, joins us on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Jason. How you doing?
Hey, great, Jeff and JJ. Great to be on with you guys, and just excited already to be enjoying this sunshine here in Albuquerque.
Yeah, how about that? So I've spent some time up in the inland Northwest, and you'll get a lot more sunshine here. It's good for the whole persona, the whole mindset. Hey, why this one, right? And that's the obvious, easy first question. But there's opportunities that come around, and you were in a pretty good spot. Moscow's beautiful. You were winning up there. Why is this job right for you?
I think it's the opportunity that's here. The opportunity that a place that's had great history and tradition. You think about Brian Urlacher. You think about what Rocky Long did back in the day, and so Coach Morrison won 10 games in the early '80s. So it's not like it's never been done here. And I think it's there's so much transition going on with the conference. I look at that Pac-12 Mountain West split is really an opportunity maybe for New Mexico to move into a premier role in the conference. And I know some teams like Boise State have been such powers over the last 20 years, but I think there's great opportunity here. And being at a university like this where you're the big show in the state. There's no NFL team. I know we got these isotopes that I can look out and see across my office, but it's still not Major League Baseball or things like that. I think these are communities that can rally around the University of New Mexico, and I think if we can give this fan base something that is a consistent winner, I think they're going to be pretty fired up. I see how good the attendance is in the pit for the basketball game. So I think there's a great opportunity here. I'm excited. Some of the states adjacent to the state of New Mexico, I think, can be great recruiting bases, and hopefully we can find some really good players, from New Mexico as well, who got a lot of pride for playing for the Lobos.
Jason, I think when people heard your name, and one of the things I say a lot, and we all have our phrases, but I tell people just because you don't know about something doesn't mean it's not good. And maybe just because people might not have been familiar with Jason Eck doesn't mean it's not going to work or he's not good. So that's why this job was good for you. Why are you the right guy for the job?
Well, I think the era right now, you have to do a great job of player development. You got to do a great job of evaluation, and I think that's really not a lot different between the FCS and the FBS. And I think the way the changes have been going, I think the FBS group of 5 schools are a lot closer to the FBS or to the FCS schools than they are to the Power 4 leagues, and how that's going right now with the TV contracts with the SEC and the Big Ten. And I think you have to do a great job of evaluation, finding some guys that you can find value in and see value in that other people don't necessarily see, and then have a great plan for developing those players once they're here. And I think the last few years, the 2 years I was at Idaho where we played Mountain West schools, we beat the University of Wyoming last year on the road, and the year before we beat the University of Nevada on the road. Even when I was back at South Dakota State, my last year there, we went to Colorado State and beat them on the road. So, I don't think there's a ton of difference in the level of player we're looking for. I think elite players, the Big Sky Conference can be elite players, in this conference. And I'm going to rally this community as well. I think that's a big thing. I think, hearing, from the administration here, I think the fan base wants something to get excited and rally around and be out in the community. My wife is, a tremendous asset. We got a big family, 5 kids, and people are going to see us around in this community, and we're going to embrace it as our own, even though we haven't spent a lot of time in New Mexico, and build something that the whole state can be proud of.
Coach, when it comes to name, image, and likeness, the transfer portal, how do you view that in rosters that can be year to year versus player development? What are your thoughts on attacking the portal and building name, image, and likeness?
Well, I'm excited about the foundation that was here, and I think that's very important. Obviously, college athletics has changed a ton in the last 5 years, and I think you can't embrace those changes. You can't look back and wish for the olden days because they're not coming back. So you have to embrace it. I think it's become more team building more than program building. I think you have to have a great plan every year for building connections within a team where you're probably going to have 40 to 50% of your roster is going to be new from year to year. So I think you have to do a great job of connecting those guys, and hopefully when you do lose a good player to a huge program that's mid 6 figures, you built a good foundation where you have some other guys below them that were ready to go. And last year we had 2 receivers who graduated. They didn't leave in the portal, but they were in NFL camps last year, and we had 2 guys who were on the roster before who didn't play as much the year before, and one had about 1,200 yards receiving, the other had about 950. So we did a great job of developing guys who were backups to get better, and then you got to be able to find some pieces, maybe even 1-year transfers that can come in and help, and you got to make sure they're right fits for the environment of the team, and they're going to add to that, not subtract to it. So, I think our mission right now for these next, few weeks is really going to be, trying to retain as many of the good players as we have. I know there's some guys in the portal who are maybe in that wait and see mindset of what they want to do, and then add some really good, players to come in as well. And then we got to do a great job this spring of developing those relationships and building a team concept where those guys connect with each other and so by the time we get to the schedule in the fall, these guys are united, they're connected, and they're going to play their tails off for each other.
Coach, what style of football do you want to play? Do you have a certain idea of what your offense wants to look like? You can just adapt it to what's there, and also defensively, what are you looking for?
Offensively, the offensive coordinator that's going to come with me, Luke Schleisner, we've worked together the past 9 seasons. He was, when I became the coordinator at South Dakota State, I made him my passing game coordinator and then brought him with as my offensive coordinator. And we're really on the same page for what we want to do offensively. We want to get the best players we can. We want to make sure that we're tailoring the offense to fit those players. And, we had a couple tight ends that were great players at South Dakota State who are now starting in the NFL. Dallas Goedert, who's with the Philadelphia Eagles, and Tucker Kraft, who's with the Green Bay Packers. And, we had those dudes. We were throwing it a bunch to the tight end. We were getting your best players the ball. We had some, receivers, the last couple of years at Idaho that were really good players. One's still with the New Orleans Saints, one's now in Canada after getting cut. We were throwing a little bit more to the receivers. We had those guys. And same thing with backs. We had a 1,000-yard back in 2023. Now, the problem sometimes when you have a first-team all-conference guy that's a sophomore, he transferred to the University of Utah then. So he was a 1,000-yard back because he was getting the ball. So we want to be very multiple with our personnel groupings. We do like to have quite a bit of pre-snap movement with shifts and motions. We try to play action a lot, run the ball, play action. We want to avoid, dropping back to pass with, 5 and 7 step drops for 30 snaps a game, because I think that puts a lot of advantage to the defense. And try to have some creative, fun stuff as well. We don't mind mixing in some exotic plays, some trick plays that way that I think make it a lot of fun to play in the offense. Mm-hmm. And then, defensively, we want to be a sound defense. We want to be a team. We were a 4-man front. I think we still will evaluate, our best situation here with which way to go in that way. But, we want to be a team that can stop people with our base defense. Our blitz percentage be more 25 to 33%. We're not a team that's, going to blitz 75% of the snaps. And, try to be sound with stopping the run to start. Try to get people into 3rd and longs, have more exotic packages on 3rd and long with pass rush. And special teams, I think, plays a huge role as well. Being a really good special teams operation that can, steal some possessions and change the field position. I think complementary football is a big thing in what we want to do. We want our offense, defense, and special teams to all be working, in a congruent way that they fit together and help and complement each other.
Yeah, he's Jason Eck, the new Lobo football coach. He's with us on the Sports Animal. Fernando Lobo, the athletic director, said, quote, he's not a team builder, he's a program builder, end quote. And I know you addressed this a little bit, but I want to build on that because, man, in today's day and age, and I know you know this, you got to be both. And I think when you look at that was something that jumped off the page to both JJ and I. Well, he's got to be a program builder, but a team builder. What's a fair timeline when you guys open up at the Big House against Michigan next Labor Day weekend? What's a fair timeline for fans to expect? Okay, this team's going to be competitive. Maybe it's not against Michigan, but is it fair to say you're going to be competitive next year in the Mountain West?
Yeah, my goal next year is to be in the postseason. I know it's been a few years since New Mexico has been able to do that, but I think you want to. The people have short attention spans, and they, this is kind of an instant gratification society. So I don't think there are any, slow rebuilds anymore. I think you need to jump right into it. We got to embrace these players as our own. And I told our, current team that in the first Zoom meeting. I mean, you're our guys. This isn't a deal where we got to wait and rebuild and get our own guys in here over time. Are we going to be in a position to? Be the conference champions next year. I don't know. That might be, too lofty a goal, but I want to see immediate progress with building this thing. And hopefully over a few years we can get into that position to win conference championships. But, the way it's set up now where almost every team, if you're at least 500, you can get a bowl game. I think that's a very realistic opportunity that's in front of us right away. And, it is. You got to build that team every year, but you want, the values of your program to carry over from year to year and make sure you're developing the team to fit those program values. But you got to really work on it every year. It's not, I don't think you're going to ever have that year anymore where, you have, 18 out of 22 starters coming back and you have, 30 seniors on the roster. I think that era has kind of passed college football, I think, especially really at any level right now.
It might be. Hey, we can all read a resume. So do you have any ties to the area? And with whom did you speak in regards to this job? I know coaches always say, well, I talked to this coach who had been there or that guy about that. Was there anybody that you trust that knew a lot about this? And what are your ties, if at all, to the area?
This is the first, last night was the first night I ever slept in Albuquerque. So I don't have great ties to New Mexico. And, someone asked me through the process at another school, it was FBS, and that was one thing that they were, intrigued by with what I did at Idaho, because I had been at South Dakota State the previous 6 years, and we had zero recruiting overlap for the areas we were recruiting at South Dakota State to the areas we were recruiting at Idaho. We are going to have quite a bit of overlap. We were getting a lot of good players out of Arizona, a lot of good players out of Southern California, the University of Idaho, which I think are still going to be key recruiting areas for us here at New Mexico. But I did a lot of research, after my first conversation with Fernando. I stepped that up, and I talked to about 5 former coaches who had been here, over the last, 10 to 15 years just to, get their take on the situation, make sure there weren't any major red flags. And, there's some, guys who I really respected in the profession who, told me, I've coached at, 12 schools, and, our time in Albuquerque was probably one of our top 2 favorite places we lived. And, thought there was a community that wanted to support it, and maybe thought there was some things, errors that maybe the head coach at the time didn't put the team in the best situation for success by some of the things he did. So I didn't come across with any red flags that are saying, hey, there's something systematic why you can't win at New Mexico. And I think that's the same thing I look for in recruiting. Again, if we're looking at a recruit that checks every box and everything is perfect right now, those guys are tough to get because those are the same guys that Texas and Ohio State and USC wants. So I try to look at a job as and I look at recruits this way, not what they are here at 18 years old, but what can they be when they're 21-year-olds? How can we develop them and get them better? Because we're probably not going to sign Power 5 guys who are Power 5 players right out of high school at Idaho or New Mexico. But I think if you have a great plan for developing them, you can have Power 5 players in a few years. Our 2023 team had 5 guys who got pretty big money to transfer to Power 4 schools. And I think really the development they had in our program that way. So that's kind of how I looked at this New Mexico job, not where it was sitting right now, but where it can be in 3 years, with great work by our staff. And I definitely saw that opportunity there, and that appealed to me. And I was looking for him. I was hoping. I kept asking for, what is the red flag? Right. I thought we were going to continue to be really good at Idaho. I didn't think this was going to be my only opportunity to leave Idaho. But I thought this was the right one. I thought the opportunity was there to come in and do better than we have been doing here the last 20 years. And that's exciting. That's an exciting challenge and opportunity that's in front of us.
He's Jason Eck, the Lobo football coach, with us. Just a few more minutes on these Sports Animal.
Yeah, Coach, the last thing for me, you touched on, you said your family and the excitement that they have, and that's a big decision. You had one of your sons playing for you at Idaho. You have some young ones, but to make this move with your family, what do they mean to you, and being able to take this step in your career, but knowing that they're behind you, what's it like to have them with you?
Like I said, I have a tremendous wife, and again, I spent the first 23 years of my coaching career, coaching as an assistant at group of 5 level, FCS, probably the most at FCS in Division II, and never a place where I was making big money or anything, and my wife, stuck by me, was always a great support system, and I think helped me show grit in this profession to keep growing and learning. I kind of had some crazy head coaching transitions of guys I worked for. So in the 23 years I was an assistant, I worked for 12 different head coaches in those 23 years. And at the time, that wasn't always fun to go through, because sometimes when a head coach left, left me stuck where I couldn't necessarily go with them, or I didn't have a spot when I was there. So it was not great to go through, but I think going through that adversity, made me stronger. It helped me learn, so that when I finally did get my opportunity to be a head coach, I was ready, and I could take, some things I learned from those guys. Probably the 2 most influential were Coach Barry Alvarez, who I played for and was a graduate assistant, and I think he, took a school like Wisconsin that had not a lot of previous success. But was in a state where it was the university, just kind of like the University of New Mexico in this state, and was able to build something pretty special there. And then Coach John Stiglmeyer at South Dakota State, he retired there after 26 years after the 22 season. I was with him through 21, and he built that program, progressing from Division II, where they weren't very good in Division II, to move into Division I and FCS, and finished his career winning a national championship in his last season. And I think he really taught me a lot about making more with less, and finding a way to make things work if you don't have as many resources as other people around you. And those are probably the 2 most influential guys that way. But my wife was she stuck with me all those years where it was a bumpy road, and I think she does such a great job of helping, spreading the gospel, and that'll be the gospel of Lobo football, and connecting with the fans, making sure they feel a part of this, connecting with the student body, and then even recruits. You're connecting with recruits' parents, and making them feel a part of it, and really putting our money where our mouth is. I think
just being real.
Talk about having a family atmosphere, but it's really not saying it, it's living it.
It's just being real, right? Jason, lastly, and appreciate the time you spent with us. You're dealing with probably a jilted fan base and maybe even a jilted roster, right? They had a coach who preached commitment and left after 1 year, and everybody understands it. Nobody's saying, "Hey, man, are you going to be here for 30 years?" That's not it. But I think there's a large facet of this fan base, because we do this every day, and we've been listening to it for the last 2 weeks. When you recruit this roster, when you talk to your student athletes and you're recruiting your roster, and the message to the fan base who's jilted, who's looking for someone who wants to invest in Lobo football, what's the message in regards to, and I don't even know what long-term means anymore in today's college football. That could be 3 years, man. But just, you know what you're getting into with a little bit of fractured heart here. What's the message?
Well, we're going to embrace this place. We're going to embrace the state of New Mexico. We're going to embrace the city of Albuquerque. We're going to embrace the University of New Mexico. We're going to try to give people something they can be proud of and feel pride, in the product that we're putting out there, and help the community feel a part of this. And, with players, you want to do a great job developing them, helping them to get wherever they want to go, whether it's, to the NFL, whether it's, trying to put them in a great position for life after football and teach them values that are going to, just help provide them value in life, whether they're going to go to med school, whether they're going to go into the business world. Help them be better, fathers and teachers, and then, also just be really honest with the players. Try to give them the best advice possible. And, sometimes that might be if they got a chance to go make, $750,000 because they play so good against Michigan this year that Michigan wants them. That may be the best move for their future. For other guys, it might be, staying another year here to keep developing and keep getting better and, trying to create more value, while they're here. But I think, every season that we're here, we need to, embrace this team, build that team, build the connections, and, hopefully put the University of New Mexico in a great situation that, if we ever leave, we're leaving in a lot better position than it was when they got here. And that's for players, that's for the assistant coaches I want to bring in here. And, hopefully we can set some foundation that can lead to, a really good era for New Mexico moving into this. We're not moving. I guess we're staying. Other people are moving away from the Mountain West. But that's exciting to maybe be where people can talk in 5 years of who is the premier program in the Mountain West. Well, it's the University of New Mexico. They're consistent. They represent the state well, and, we've gotten this fan base excited to come support us and fill the stadium up, just like they've done such a great job of filling up the pit for basketball.
Go to work. Appreciate the time. I know that was a lot of time, and we really appreciate it. Look forward to meeting you in person, and we'll have many of these. And but good luck to you. Welcome to you and to your family, and have fun building what hopefully is something really special to the University of New Mexico, Jason.
Hey, Jeff and JJ, I appreciate you guys, and thank you for your support.
Be well.
Lobo up.
Be well. He is Jason Eck, the new head football coach of the University of New Mexico. We went super long. The next segment's going to be really short, but we got time for you to respond. That you met your new guy. What do you think? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
It's going to be a really short segment, but 505-246-0610 as we get back on track. Let's go. Lewis, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. How are you, Lewis?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I like this guy so far. I listened to your interview, and I actually went back, and anybody can do this. I went back and saw some of his interviews with Idaho, and I think I can't tell you if he's going to be a good coach or not. I don't know, but I think we're going to like the guy personally. He seems to speak just like he's sitting talking to you at a table having a hamburger. And I don't think he's got anything to hide. I think he's going to be forthright with what's going on. And I know you haven't met him yet, but I think you're going to enjoy his company when you see him. So you'll have to relay that to us, because obviously we can't go meet the guy, but you can, and you're going to be our window to his organization there, and I'm looking forward to it. But like I said, I went back and looked at some of his interviews at Idaho, and very nice, very relaxed. I think he can bring the intensity when he's going to have to. Look, the guy started for 4 years, or he played for 4 years at Wisconsin as a lineman. That says something. That's a lineman school, and they put out a lot of linemen. And so that immediately to me gave me some good cachet. So, and then, he's been around, he's been in a lot of places. He, like you said, won a national championship at South Dakota State. He's taken Idaho, which was, a terrible program for many years, put him in the playoffs for 3 years in a row. I like what he said about the offense. He's going to try and, make things happen. Without telling us he needs to put a third digit on the scoreboard, but he's going to want to make some things happen. Get the ball in the best players' hands. I like that. So I'm very impressed so far. So keep it coming, and I'm sure you'll meet the guy soon and tell us all about it.
Appreciate you. All right, man. Thanks,
Jeff.
All right, let me get one more in before and it's going to be a break. And if you're there, thanks for bearing with us. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal.
Good morning. Well, that was a pretty nice interview, and I've talked to people. Actually, I know people that lived in South Dakota and moved to Idaho, strangely enough, and they really like the guy. I haven't met him personally, but I have every intention of doing that, me, and I'm going to give him whatever support I can give him. And I really think that he had a lot of good points. And, yeah, the days of a guy coming in and staying 25, 30 years are probably over at any school. It's not just UNM. I mean, people keep acting like UNM's the only school this happens to. It's happening to a lot of schools, and it's big fish eat smaller fish. So let's try to be a bigger fish. And if the guy can do that, great. What I really like about him and what everybody said is his personality, and he really cares about people. So it's hopefully not a fake care. We saw the fake care come here for a year, and I want to see the guy dancing, and I want to see Lobo fans dancing. So let's see what he can bring to the table. But me, and Jeff, it's like I take people to the lake on my boat, and there's two kinds of people. Okay, there's the ones that jump right off the boat into the water, and there's the ones that stick a toe in, and then up to the ankle, and then maybe to the knees before they get in the water. So this guy looks like a guy that jumps in with both feet, I like that.
Yep, he's got to jump in. All right, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, if you're there, stay there, please. And I know this is a short one. I got to get somewhat back and steer the ship on time. 505-246-0610. Your response to what you heard from Jason Eck on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points?
Coach, right here on the Sports Animal, 505-246-0610. Travis, thank you for holding. Good morning. You're on the Sports Animal.
Good morning, fellas. We are back, baby. We are back. Listen, things are right in Lobo Nation. Lobo women got a great win against a tough Pepperdine team with some excellent second quarter defense. The Lobo men hung up an NBA basketball score against Western New Mexico and did it with their bench players, and Lobo football hired their future. This is a great day. By the way, the OD in the AM is showing why it is the premier sports talk show in the region, for my money, the country, with such a great interview. Man, is that guy likable or what? I tell you what, that guy is so good. I mean, it was obvious just how organic, just how forthright, just how genuine Jason Eck is. He didn't have a PR guy sitting next to him saying, okay, now's the time to mention the Pits, right? He came in, he did the interview. It was him and the other callers, you know, Rudy and Lewis. They said it right. It's like you're sitting there having a beer with the guy. And I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning, is that too early to have a beer?
It is
I'm not sure,
no.
But it had that feeling. And that kind of, and the thing that makes me feel really good about that guy is he knows how to do more with less. We know that the state of New Mexico in the legislative session needs to step up and make a significant investment in both the University of New Mexico and New Mexico State. But setting that aside, that guy knows how to do more with less, and his solution to that problem is he is going to develop his talent, and that is amazing to hear. Listen, that guy sounds like a workhorse. There are two types of ponies. There are show horses and there are workhorses, and that guy is a workhorse, and I look forward to the success that he is going to have on the field and him becoming a part of our community. Great stuff, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you. It was easy to listen to. He certainly had things to say. JJ, I think one of the things that you like, I think, and we were talking as we were going down, filling our coffee, when I asked him at the end, I said, look, man, nobody's asked you to be here 30 years, but you got a jilted fan base, right? As you're recruiting your players, you're recruiting fans, right? What do you say? And I mean, you like the fact that he said, look, man, if we win and I do get another job, I'm paraphrasing this here, but it's kind of, all right.
You can't sugarcoat it, man. You don't want to be sold false goods. It's sports fans are smart enough, they're honest enough to know the situation. And I've said it leading up to this, like a step forward for the Lobos would to become a stepping stone, because Lobo football is not a stepping stone. It's a stone. Like it's there, and you have your moment, and then you're fired. Like, when was the last time? You have to go back to James Franchione.
I mean, would you consider? Well, you're right. I mean, Bronco didn't. He used it as a stone. You're right. You're right.
Nothing that Bronco Mendenhall did this year at the University of Mexico got him the job at Utah State.
I think that's right.
So if a coach is able to come in, whether it's 2, 3, 4 years, get you success, maybe win double-digit games, compete for a conference championship, that's what you're looking for. And then if they happen to go on to something else, you tip your cap and say, appreciate you. You haven't had that moment. And I think Lobo fans understand it, that whatever coach you hire, they're not going to be here for the rest of their career.
That's okay.
It's sport.
It's okay.
College athletics. It's okay. But I liked, he was honest about it. He was open. When it comes to the players, when it comes to the year-to-year mindset, you have to have the willingness to attack it. Can't complain about what things the way they once were. Can you change things? Absolutely. But I liked the openness about it, the reality of the situation, because that's what you're dealing with is reality, not just a bunch of coaches.
Yeah, and I liked also, because I asked him, Fernando Lobo said he's not a team builder, he's a program builder. Well, he's got to be both. And I think he acknowledges that. Look, this will be his first foray into a higher level of NIL, the transfer portal, all these things. This gentleman's got to go and recruit his roster. JJ, I think there's going to be a few guys in the portal who played at New Mexico last year who will come back. Now, I don't know how many. I don't know how many are already thinking they're going to Utah State. I know Devin Dampier's at Utah. Luke Weissong's committed to Arizona. I see Nick Trujillo going to Louisiana Monroe the other day. I mean,
that will also, you've talked about it a lot in this kind of transition period about figuring out what this year kind of meant for everyone, from Bronco Mendenhall to the players. Just how many dudes go to Utah State, I think we'll say a little bit about this season, because there hasn't been one of those guys yet that you're like, oh man, that was a big player on this team.
Because you kind of figured that's where Nick
committed to Utah State,
where Luke Weissong was one, right?
Yeah, Luke. Oh, went to who?
He went to Danny Gonzalez's program. Now, it's not Danny Gonzalez's program, but that was the familiarity at Arizona. Yeah. No, he went there. Nick Trujillo went to Brian Vincent's program at Louisiana Monroe. Brian Vincent was the offensive coordinator when Danny was here. It will tell a lot. And again, I'm not taking anything from Bronco Mendenhall as far as he's a terrific coach. But I think you're really right. How many guys go to him? Like he had a really good offensive line.
Yeah, Agnello committed to Houston.
Yeah. So how many guys stay? I think that's important to Jason Eck right now. Is how many of those guys can he re-recruit to get back? I think you're going to find out a lot in the next 2 days, don't you?
Oh yeah, he's sure. Like today is just players, all player conversations, figuring it out, and
everything I've heard about Jason Eck, and I don't know a lot of people who do know him, but everything. So I got a good buddy, you know this, who does Idaho games, and in fact, Dennis would be a good guy for you to have on this week. Dennis Passion. In fact, maybe I'll reach out to him here. But says just great dude. Like, you're going to really, really like him. Really like him. But we'll see. All right, Nick Carparelli at 9 o'clock, the executive director of Bowl Season, is going to be with us. That's the Football Bowl Association. Bowl games are underway. Want his thought on the health of the system, where it goes, some thoughts on the Marshall situation over the weekend, and maybe will that lead to some relief in the portal. We'll see. Hey, if you've been a victim of property crime, home, business, you know it takes too long for the police to respond. They just don't have enough officers to cover all the calls. But when it's you, your home, your business, you need quick response. How about 7 minutes or less? That's the normal response time for customers of International Protective Service. I've used IPS for years. They've got strategically placed officers all around Albuquerque and in Santa Fe. They react quickly. They provide standing guards. If you need eyes on your property around the clock, they will give you that. They install alarms, camera systems, state-of-the-art facility that monitors those cameras 24/7. It all raises the level of security around your home and business. Do not wait until you are a victim of property crime. It's too late. Be proactive on this. Who's watching your home when you're not there? Make sure it's the good guys and not the bad guys. Call IPS at 505-897-2420, 505-897-2420, or go online at ipsglobal.com. IPS is passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
This report is sponsored by U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs.
Veterans exposed to toxins while serving at home or abroad may now be eligible
We would
for
like
VA.
to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
On the Jason Eck conversation. If you missed it or want to hear it again, it'll be wherever you get your podcast, or go to our website, sportsanimalabq.com. Click on the opening drive and you'll hear the first conversation with the new Lobo football coach since he's been the Lobo football coach. Text line, I like this guy. Any information on his introduction press conference? I think it's tomorrow. Open to the public. What time and where? It's 10 o'clock at the Pit. JJ, open to the public, I think. I think that's right. Mudd says this is a stud hire, expects big things from his players and coaches. UNM, Fern Lobo, and President Stokes need to through their full support, and that includes securing funds to fully give to facilities. Go Lobos and Coach Eck. This one says, very nice interview. Coach Eck sounds like a nuts and bolts blue-collar guy. Now, hear me out. Those of you who routinely ask for Lobo football to drop down a level just got your coach. The thing is, his FCS philosophy may work in an FBS town that is a wait and see, or has every excuse not to go. He just may be what UNM needs. Good luck to Lobo football. This one says, did not utter the crutch phrase, gosh, once. How refreshing. This one says, good morning, Jeff and JJ. The new head coach of the UNM Lobos team sounds highly optimistic and confident in getting this team at its best for next season. Can't wait to see the end result on the gridiron. Go Coach Eck and UNM Lobos. Thanks, Jeff and JJ. Email came in, and this one is really weird to me. This is Bourne. He says, obviously I'm concerned, Jeff. Bourne, what do you think he's concerned about, JJ? He says, I heard Beck, and I believe his name to be Eck. So is he talking about the former offensive coordinator, or is he talking about the new head coach? He said, I heard Beck say we need to recruit under-the-radar guys and then turn them into a good team with great coaching. That strategy has never worked when employed by Lobo Athletics in the past. It's from Bourne. Brian Urlacher, Hank Baskett, Ryan Cook, Nick Spiegel. Weren't they all under-recruited or non-recruited that went to the NFL? I don't know how you just think you're getting 5 stars away from Alabama and that's how you're going to win? How else are you going to do it here? How else are you going to start this? By getting under the radar guys with Luke Wysong, Devin Dampier? Did those guys work out okay? Bourne, when did it not? Like how else did you build it? Dontrell Moore is the only really highly recruited guy that I can recall you getting here out of high school. No? All right, we're going to talk Bulls when we get back. Nick Carparelli is the executive director of Bulls season. That is the Football Bull Association. We talked to him about the Bulls season, the schedule, the meshing everything in with the college football playoff, the impact of Marshall having to pull out of a bowl this weekend. Nick Carparelli next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
With 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bond.
All right, lots going on. Hope you enjoyed the conversation with Jason Eck, the new Lobo football coach. Coming up at 9:30 this morning, we're going to go up to the inland Northwest. Dennis Patchen, a good friend of mine who's the voice of the Idaho Vandals. He'll give you a little perspective on your new coach. You heard from Jason Eck, but we'll talk with Dennis Patchen, the voice of the Vandals, coming up at 9:30 and get you another perspective on your new coach. I want to get into bowl season. Well, and look, you know where I am with this, and I'm looking forward to our game. I think the Isleta New Mexico Bowl's got a great matchup. And University Stadium, you'll hear it here on the Sports Animal. 8-4 TCU out of the Big 12, a 10-3 Louisiana team who played in the Sun Belt Championship game. I'm super fired up for a Saturday afternoon game between Christmas and New Year's. Bowl season started on Saturday. The Cricket Celebration Bowl, Jacksonville State beat South Carolina State. The IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl was really good. South Alabama beat Western Michigan. Nick Carparelli is the executive director of Bowl Season, formerly known as the Football Bowl Association. A lot going on in his biz and his world, and he's very busy, and he found a few minutes for us this morning on the Sports Animal here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Good morning, Nick. How you living?
I'm living great, Jeff. Busy time of year for all of us, as you know.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you finding a few minutes. Off to a good start. I think it's a great slate of bowl games, and it's exciting, and the student athletes and the thousands who opt in to bowl games get to enjoy destinations and get to play again, and it kind of reminds everybody how special bowl games are.
They really are. You know, they're a reward for a successful season. They're a launching point for some programs into the next season. It's a special time of year. You know, for 3 weeks in December, we get to celebrate the game of college football. And we all know how, different the football programs are across the country. But if you've had a successful season based on your definition of success, there's going to be a great experience for you waiting at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's special. Had a weird situation this weekend, and this is where the portal and NIL converge with postseason football. Marshall's head coach left, gone to Southern Mississippi, and 30-something players were in the portal. They had committed to playing in the Independence Bowl, and they had to back out, and Louisiana Tech will go in. It was an uncomfortable time for a lot of people. I guess we've been having the conversation, Nick. Will this be the impetus maybe now for whoever they happen to be, to address the portal and the timing of the portal window?
I sure hope so. Sometimes it takes something like this for people to really get triggered and say, hey, something has to be done about this. And to be honest with you, this isn't the first example of things that have gone awry with the new NIL transfer portal. The combination of the two has really proven toxic, I would say, for the sport. You're seeing players opt out of the regular season. You're seeing players opt out of bowl games. By the way, football programs and the college level have 100 players on their roster, 30 guys opting out. I don't know. You do the math for me, Jeff.
Yep.
Seems like there's a lot of able bodies that could have played the game.
Yep.
They just simply chose not to. So there's a lot of things that need to be addressed. I think the good news is that people are anxious to do that. Whether or not they're willing to take, big steps to change some of these things remains to be seen. But I know it's going to be a healthy offseason in terms of, discussing all potential options.
He's Nick Carparelli, the executive director of Bowl Season, with us on the Sports Channel.
And Nick, I know you guys can just control the bowls and what you work with, but in terms of those conversations or trying to get people on the same page, I know more coaches have spoken out about it recently, about just not just bowl games, but the health for the sport as a whole. How do you get those conversations going to address things for change?
That's a good question. I think it's important to know that the problem is not with bowl games. People love bowl games. Where do you see how many people watch these games on TV? Where do you see the way you've seen it, the way these players react during the games and when they win the game. People love bowl games. The problem is with the structure or lack thereof around it. And as I mentioned earlier, it's affecting all of college football, not just bowl season, which I guess in a way for us is a good thing. If it was just affecting us, then we'd be left alone to fight this fight. But it's affecting every program, every head coach. You hear coaches every day speaking out about the timing of the transfer portal. It's affecting the playoff. The backup quarterback at Penn State who's in the playoff, they're hosting a playoff game. A quarterback who sees action in some kind of change of pace type game, he's opting out. He's not going to be available for Penn State to play in the playoff. Something is wrong with the sport, and the leadership needs to take a step back and say, all right, we got to stop saying we can't do this or that because it hasn't been done before, and just do it.
How have you seen, too, just the reaction now that the college football playoff has expanded, but as you said, still the excitement, the opportunity that's there, that these things can work together in this new system?
Yeah, I mean, I'm optimistic because people want it to happen. If there's no desire, then you don't have much of a chance. But, I mean, like I said, there's schools across the country, and most of them aren't equipped as a program to reach that CFP level, right? Maybe they can aspire to be there someday, but there's 135 FBS institutions, 12 CFP spots, 123 other institutions that need to aspire to have a great postseason experience, and that's what the bowl system does.
He's Nick Carparelli, the executive director of Bowl Season. Nick, I think there's a couple of things that need to be understood, and you said it. People love bowl games, right? Coaches always are speaking out in favor of bowl games. The players who participate in bowl games love them. Fans are watching them at crazy numbers, and you got to remember, some players opt out. Thousands of them, tens. What's the number? Like 10,000 of them opt in for bowl games. I think that's got to be clear. But when it comes to the portal, look, everybody talks about school, right? And I get it. The semester starts. But when a coach leaves, the portal opens for 30 days. So when Nick Saban left last January late, it opened up at Alabama for 30 days, and 3 days later it opened at Washington, and 3 days later at Arizona, and 3 days later, and now you're in February. There's a way for it to be done. There's just got to be a want to. Don't you think?
100%. I think, we go back to the old way, right? If you wanted to transfer, you had to sit out a whole year, right? So that people deem that to be too restrictive, right? Now we've swung all the way the other way and say, you could transfer whenever you want, as much as you want, whenever that portal window. You could, at the end of every semester, you could transfer, right? I don't know how anybody thinks that's good. I don't know how anybody graduates. My son transferred once, and he's already behind a few credits, right? So I think we need to start looking hard at, okay, maybe you could transfer one time without sitting out, but the second time you do. I think we need to look at the concept of maybe the transfer portal window is one time a year for football. It's the end at the end of the spring, right? So if you're making a commitment to a school, it's for one full academic
But Nick,
year.
who makes these calls? Like who? I always ask this question: who is they? Where? Because the NCAA's backed out. They've got sued and lose the litigation the majority of the time. So who's going to set these parameters if in fact they get changed?
That was never an easy answer. It's even more complicated now. Back, several years ago, the NCAA would make those changes, but it would be because of the desires of the membership. So the various NCAA committees are represented by all 10 FBS conferences, all 30 plus Division I conferences. And if they come together and the consensus is we need to make any kind of rule change, that's how it used to work. It was cumbersome, but there was a path. Now, anytime the NCAA does something that one person doesn't like, they get sued and they lose, right? So it's an impossible setup right now. I'm anxious to see what the federal government does. They're going to step in and regulate this. I still think, like we've been talking about here, Jeff, if the leadership of college football came up with a solid plan, it may or may not pass the legal test, but Congress can do whatever they want if they believe in a plan and they think it makes sense and it's for the greater good of the sport. Somebody needs to come up with a plan, put it in front of the authorities, and have them bless it and say that's what needs to be done.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of is on the same page that it needs to be done. I'm just not sure that anybody wants to do it, and the litigation is scary. All right, lastly, how you feel about the schedule? I think there's some great games on there. The College Football Playoff is now integrated in with bowl season. That third Saturday in December is all playoff games. I love our matchup moving forward. Your thought on the matchups, because I think we got some great games.
Yeah, we do. Selection Sunday is one of my favorite days of the year because there's always some intriguing matchups that pop up, and you look at them and sometimes you say, geez, I don't think I've ever seen those two teams play before. And lo and behold, a lot of times they haven't, right? Because in bowl games, you're seeing matchups between two teams that wouldn't normally schedule each other, and they're playing in a really cool destination. I'm looking forward to your game. I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to the day your game is on. 8 bowl games on Saturday, December 28th. This is an unofficial stat, Jeff, but I don't think there's ever been a day in the history of mankind with 8 bowl games on the same day. So people should stock up their fridges. Make sure it's not too far from your couch. Start at 11 a.m. into the wee hours. Watch bowl season on Saturday, December 28th, and the next 3 weeks.
Yep, and get out to the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl. Tickets are on sale. Play the bowl, the Bowl Pick'em Challenge. Go to bowlseason.com. And you missed out on the first 2, but you can look. A lot of people miss those games. Get involved. There's a pick'em game on there. You can go to newmexicobowl.com, and there's a link on there as well. But make sure you're part of that. There's great prizes that'll be awarded there, and you get to you can start a group with your friends, however you want to do that. And I've told you about that a few times as well. Hey, I know you're busy. Appreciate you spending a few minutes with our audience. I will talk to you very, very soon, Nick. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, be well. He is Nick Carparelli, the executive director of Bowl Season. Bottom of the hour, 9:30 this morning, we will talk with Dennis Passion, the voice of the Idaho Vandals. Get another perspective, a guy who knows Jason Eck pretty well, your new head football coach. You heard from the new Lobo coach. What is the guy who worked with him pretty closely think? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
'49ers, according to reports, are going to suspend Devondre Campbell for 3 games, which is the rest of the season, for refusing to enter Thursday night's game against the Rams. NFL Network reported that first. But the Niners are mathematically alive for the postseason, but they're behind all 4 other teams for the 7th and final playoff spot. But he decided not to play, so the Niners, and you saw the frustration on George Kittle, on the head coach, Kyle Shanahan. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. Mahomes' ankle is hurt. Not sure about the availability for Patrick Mahomes. They'll play Saturday and then Wednesday, which is interesting, how that goes out. 505-246-0610. Coming up here in a few minutes, Dennis Patchen, the voice of the Idaho Vandals. Just get his perspective on your new head coach, what you're getting from a dude, from a coach, from a builder, from that standpoint. And Dennis has been up in the Inland Northwest, Spokane, and that area for a lot of years. He's probably the reason I'm here, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he shot the story that was on my resume reel when I got the job at KOAT back 28 years ago. So he's a freaking legend up there. All right, 505-246-0610. Anything stand out from what Nick said? Because it sounds like Nick Carparelli, the executive director of bowl season, is where you and I are, hoping that the Marshall accident, and it's a decision, because he said there's 100 dudes on a football team. 30 go in the portal, there's still 70. You could probably play.
It's just a bad model for the sport overall, not just the bowl games, but it's the opportunities that are missed out because this is the window. So a lot of players have to take this opportunity now to get in the transfer portal. And I think the Penn State backup quarterback is one. Like, that's huge. Like, that's your number 2 quarterback. It's not just some random guy in the depth chart that's leaving the team because he has never played a snap this season. And he put it out there saying, well, I want to make this change in my career. I have to do it now because the portal closes before playoffs end. Well,
that'll make more noise than somebody leaving the independent spot, right? And I think we all see an issue. And I'm not sure Nick really answered the question, who's they, right? He said the leaders of the sport. But it feels like everybody's on the same page. The portal running absolutely concurrent with postseason is a bad model, right?
Yeah, it's bad for the sport as a whole, man.
Yeah, not just bowl games, overall. Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. Hoser, good morning. What's up, buddy?
Good morning. Well, it's time to Lobo up. I like it. He's already set the phrase. I don't know if you caught that.
We did. All
right. Yeah. So that's the new hashtag Lobo up, baby. Got to start spreading the news. Pretty excited about it. You know, you're always excited when there's a new guy come in. So, you know, I wish him the best, and I'm starting to, I guess, realize just the way that things are going to be run from now on. You know, I'm old-fashioned. I like to see guys hang around. So now maybe longevity for a coach in this age is probably going to be maybe 5 years, if that. I mean, if success is really happening, it could be as short as 2 to 3 years, or Lord forbid, the 1 year thing. I mean, just the 1 year thing is just not healthy. Hey, also last week, Crusher was. He put out a thing about having guys that are entering the portal and they go somewhere else. I kind of like the idea of some kind of buyout. Let's get a little something for these guys that are leaving us. Like that, we can regenerate some money, in the pool and move forward with it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you'd have to have the student athletes agree essentially to become employees, have contracts, and set up a professional model, not just this kind of, but kind of not, hiding behind NIL collectives, like signed professional contracts.
Yeah. Well, couldn't that be worked in? I mean, there's got to be some kind of paperwork right now for the NIL stuff that they're getting. I don't know if they necessarily need to become employees, but
yeah, because
let's work something in there where we get a little compensation if they do leave us.
Well, who's going to agree to that without it being a professional model?
I think a lot of the universities that are similar to New Mexico, I think they would all be up for it. I'm sure the big guys are not going to want to,
and that's why it has to
return
be
some money back. But
you have to be something
you have to do it
professional.
across the board, and I don't know if that'll help the situation with everybody transferring and then affecting the bowl games.
No, like you'd have an NIL collective at a power conference school is not going to be like, oh yeah, let me pay you extra just because.
No, it's got to be included.
Have to be like a model change across the board.
Yeah, well, not even extra. I mean, just let me give you what you were making, at the previous institution. Let me give you, even if they can't give you the full amount, maybe say half. Just so it's just not like, hey, it's just
just out of their goodness of their hearts. Like, just because they want to, like, it has to be a entire model change. They're not going to do it just to do it.
And I don't know that model's changing.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, it's going to take some work, but I think I like that. I like that model of establishing something just to kind of eliminate so much movement. And I'm with you guys. I think this window needs to close, or it needs to be moved till after everything's settled, maybe in January or just leave it for the spring.
Yeah, I think the spring's the answer. Hey, Hoser, thanks for the call.
You got it, man.
So, the spring seems to be the answer. Coaches don't hate that. Players don't. I think would be okay with it. I think there's a lot of players who are losing out on opportunity. Like, don't you think the young man leaving Penn State would like to be part of that playoff run? But the window's open and he knows he needs to leave, so he's leaving. But don't you think he'd like to be part of this playoff run?
Absolutely.
Don't you think a lot of those Marshall guys, okay, I'm going, but I'd love to play in a bowl game?
And I think a lot of people would then say, why aren't you doing it?
Because the portal is concurrent and I've got to go now. Because the system is forcing me to go now. And so I don't know who, it's not good for anyone. The school issue is an understandable issue. But obviously there's a way around it. And again, I've drawn this parallel for you many times. The 30-day window opens and coaches leave in January and they kick over. All right, we got a break. When we come back, do you want to, are we giving away the thing now? We can do that? All right, we got a mystery box from All in Autographs. 505-246-0610, the third caller. 505-246-0610. You will win a mystery box from All in Autographs. And when we come back, Dennis Patchen, the voice of the Idaho Vandals, will be with us. And you'll get another perspective on your new football coach, Jason Eck. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at newmexicobowl.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Everguard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
About an hour and a half ago, you heard the first conversation with the new Lobo football coach, Jason Eck. He arrived last night in town, said he spent his first night ever in Albuquerque last night. First of many, some of you hope, most of you hope, I think. And if you missed that conversation, you can listen to it over on our website, sportsanimalabq.com. Click on the opening drive, and it's all right there. Guy who I think knows him pretty well is a good longtime friend of mine. This guy might be the reason I'm in Albuquerque, or I came here 28 years ago. He shot the story that was on my demo reel when I got the job at KOAT back in 96. Recently retired, or kind of retired, but he's the voice of the Idaho Vandals. He is Dennis Patch and joins us on the Sports Animal. Congratulations on your retirement or semi-retirement, my friend. How you living?
I'm good. I retired for 3 days and got bored, so I took the Idaho radio basketball football job. So that's I like to tell people, Jeff, I retired from all this stuff. I don't use stuff when I talk to people. I'm not on the radio. All the stuff I don't want to do, and I didn't retire from the stuff I do want to do.
Yeah, no, it's and you're really, really good at it. And he's a legend up in the Inland Northwest, and so appreciate you just spending a few minutes with us. I think I probably woke you up this morning. We got to meet Jason Eck for about, I kept him probably for 20 minutes. What kind of dude are Lobo fans getting? What kind of coach are Lobo fans getting in Jason Eck?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the person. He gets it. He's engaged with the community, fans, what fans want, not necessarily what they want to hear, but they want a coach that they feel like gives a darn about their football team. And from day one, when he got to Moscow 3 years ago, he gave that vibe. He was in the community. We were doing a coaches show when I was doing football the first time that had 10 people show up to it. Well, he said that's not good enough anymore. So he would go get a fraternity or a sorority and feed them pizza. The first year, he had his players go through the dorms, go through the fraternities and sororities, and make sure that the students felt invited, to make sure that they came to the football game. And I asked him why he did that, and he said, I need to start with the people on campus first. And if the people on campus first are having a good time, the people in the community are going to have a good time. Also helps that he won some football games. Yep. I don't know if New Mexico fans know much about the University of Idaho, but back in the 80s and the 90s, they were one of the most dominant, at that time, 1AA programs in America. They didn't win a national championship, but they were there every year and produced NFL guys. Ryan Phillips, who played for the Giants, played in the Super Bowl. Jeff Robinson, who was the three-time Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Sky Conference, played 15 years for the Rams and the Broncos. John Freese, who was a quarterback for more than a decade in the NFL. All those guys played at Idaho. They moved up, didn't have a whole lot of success, came back to the FCS, still weren't having much success until Jason Eck got there. 3 straight trips to the playoffs, back-to-back trips to the FCS quarterfinals. He gets it. He gets it on the football field. He gets it with the community. If Lobo fans don't like Jason Eck, they're the Grinch.
He's Dennis Patcher, the voice of the Idaho Vandals, with us on the Sports Animal.
Dennis, how do you think grinding at the FCS level, as Eck has done, translates to FBS, a program that has some more resources but still doesn't have all the bells and whistles? How do you think that's going to go for him?
I mean, he'll make it work. He'll figure it out. He figured it out at Division II places when he was an offensive coordinator. When those guys, you're probably sweeping the gym during basketball games if you're not the head coach. He figured it out at South Dakota State. When those guys got there, they were a good program. They weren't a great program. Was the offensive coordinator there. He figured it out at Idaho, where Idaho had 2 winning seasons in a quarter century. He figured out how to win games and figured out how to win games right away. And he figured out how to win games with other guys' players, and he figured out how to get his guys in there. This is an Idaho Vandal team this past season that won 10 games. This is the 3rd time in program history that they've won 10 or more games in a season, and he had 1 senior on his offensive, not too deep, 1 senior on his offense. That was it. Everybody else was eligible to return to that football team. He understands football. He's a brilliant offensive mind, but he also understands kids. He was the right fit for Idaho, and I truly believe he's the right fit for New Mexico as they go, as they now head to what is going to be the new Mountain West in a year. And if you look at the teams in that league, why can't New Mexico win this thing?
Truth.
Why can't they be a conference championship in the first year of this? I truly believe Jason Eck can turn any program around he's going to be at. And you know what? Not easy to recruit to Moscow, Idaho. I bet half your listeners don't even know what part of the state Moscow's in.
I promise you that's right.
Idaho, is it in southern Idaho?
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm just saying, he's been successful everywhere he's been. Why not New Mexico?
The athletic director at UNM, who's been here, 2 weeks, JJ? Literally, he got in on a Monday, and his coach left on a Wednesday, and he had to go out, and he's a first-time AD, and he had to go out on a search. And, it sounds like he's done a good job with this hire. He said Jason Eck is not a team builder. He's a program builder. And I think that works a lot. Certainly 5 years ago, I always talk about the difference between a team and a program. Dennis, I think in this day and age, you got to be both. With the portal, your team changes every single year. You got 30, 50 dudes in a portal every year. You got to be both. Can he be both?
Yeah, I think he can. I really do. He did an unbelievable job. I mean, he got hired and didn't have a whole bunch of guys to be able to recruit that first year, which in this day and age with the early signing date, it's very difficult to get a good class together. He got enough players, but he also took what was left over and turned them into a really good football team. They made the playoffs the first year. They had 7 wins at a team that not many people, I think the conference picked them to finish 8th. They finished 3rd and got into the postseason. Then they got a 4 seed last year, and again he had to rebuild his defense. And then this season with 10 wins, they lost 5 guys off of their team in the transfer portal a year ago. They lost more than 5. They lost 5 guys who got $100,000 or more from somebody else. And I don't know what Idaho's NIL budget is, but I bet it's probably not $100,000 for the whole program, at least at that point in time. And he was able to rebuild that team, add some guys on defense, had some young guys on offense, and then he went through a bunch of injuries where in the first 2 weeks of the season they lost their starting quarterback, 2 of their best offensive linemen. They lost a starting receiver before the season began, and week 4 they lost their starting tight end. They were down 5 guys on offense and just kept right on rolling through people. So, I think he can. And he gets it. He understands it. He understands guys are going to leave. He gets that. He's just got to find the next best guy, or if the next best guy is on his roster, he'll promote him. They played 4 quarterbacks this year because of injuries. He gets it. He's going to be fine at New Mexico. I know that
you're making Lobo fan feel better. You're making Lobo fan feel. They need it.
You know what they do, because their program has been not very good for a long time. I mean, there's been blips in the road, but that was what Idaho was. Idaho wasn't very good for a long time. Once they left the SCS, they made 3 bowl games. They had 4 winning seasons. It was bad. And he took the job and he turned the program around immediately. And I think people are going to love him for who he is, first as a person, because he doesn't coach a game until September, because he's that type of guy you just want to give a hug to. But then he's going to go out and win you some football games. I really think this is a great hire for New Mexico. And the problem is, Jeff, is because if somebody doesn't know people or know a team, they always discount them. Oh, I don't know who they are. They must
That's
not
what I
be
say
any
all the
good.
time.
Well, you know what? That happens all the time. Well, you don't know who Jason Eck is, but look what he did at Idaho the last 3 years. Go do that. You got a homework assignment for your listeners. Go look at Idaho football for the last 3 years. You're going to like him a little bit more. Then listen to him talk about what he wants to do with his program. Then you're going to like him a little bit more. Then watch what the energy this team has in spring football and maybe the first couple games. You're going to like him a little bit more, and pretty soon you're going to tell yourself, this is the best hire we could have made.
He's Dennis Patch, the voice of the Vandals, up at Idaho Vandals, where Jason Eck just came from, with us just for a few more minutes here on the Sports Animal.
Well, you've answered a lot of these questions, but outside of just the proof on the football resume, what is it that it seems like so many people that even haven't even met him yet, but just listen to him on the radio, look back at it, like what makes him the good dude that people buy into?
Because well, first of all, he grew up in the Midwest. And people who grow up in the Midwest usually are pretty nice. Second of all, he's an offensive lineman, and I always like to say the offensive linemen are the smartest people on the football team. And third of all, he's waited for his opportunity to be a head coach. He was an assistant coach for more than 20 years. He got fired on staffs at 3 different places not because of what he was doing, just because they weren't successful or somebody wanted to make a change. He has been waiting for his opportunity. He got it at Idaho. Now he gets his chance to be an FBS coach for the first time. He's going to be fine. It's just give him a chance. That's all I say. I'm sure that people had wanted a former New Mexico player or wanted somebody that was a up and coming offensive assistant. Well, the problem is it's harder to hire those guys at the group of 4 offensive coordinators, offensive or defensive, because they're making so much money. They're not going to go home. Who goes home and tells their wife we're going to take a pay cut from $2 million to $1 million? Yeah. Who does that?
It's a tough conversation, man.
A divorce guy does that.
And soon to be, and then he loses half of his $1 million. He just dropped from 2 to 1, and he loses half of his $1 million. See?
Correct.
That's how that works. He sounds like me, huh? Just because you don't know about something doesn't mean it's not good. Hey, lastly, when I sit down with him and I buy him a drink, what does he drink? What do I buy him?
I don't know because I've never bought him a drink. He's only bought me drinks.
Right,
so if you're whoever your radio guy is, I don't know who that is, and I apologize for not knowing. He's going to love working with this guy. I'm just telling you right now. That guy's going to be first in line for love and working with this guy.
Miss you. It's good to hear you. It's good to catch up with you. I'll give you a call and we'll catch up. But I think you maybe talk Global Fan. If they were still on the ledge, hopefully you talked them off the ledge a little bit.
Well, give him my phone number, damn it. I'll talk him off the ledge. Come on. Be excited. Be excited for this hire. It's always great to come on with the king of Albuquerque. I used to call you the mayor of Albuquerque, but those guys are term limits now, so I had to make you a king so you can't get off the throne.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I might get deposed. What's that word? Is it deposed? When they overthrow you? They just throw you the hell out?
That's not good because then usually they take you to the guillotine, Jeff, so you don't want that to happen. Yeah. Just resign or advocate.
I'm just a guy who's making, working a few jobs, making a living, DP. But always good to catch up with you. Thank you for doing this last minute. I'll catch up with you soon.
Anytime. Fans are going to love him. I'm just going to say that. Thanks for having me on.
Be well. He is the king of the inland Northwest. He is, and will never get overthrown. He is the great Dennis Patchen. Dude's a legend up there. A legend.
I like it.
You feel better?
I was already feeling good about it before because I'm right there with you. And just because you don't know doesn't mean a darn thing. Like there's nothing underwhelming about it. It's all right. You might not know the guy, but any of these guys, you could know him and it could be a disaster. So let's see how it plays out.
You knew who Bronco Mendenhall was, or at least you knew the name, right? All right. Maybe that makes you feel better. We'll wrap you up when we get back. I got some correspondence from you as well. Still time to get in 505-246-0610. Hey, winter weather will, at some point be here. It's coming. And there's no better, I can't even speak. There's no better way to combat that snow and that dirt and that junk than a call from On the Spot Automotive Detailing. Give them a call. They will come out to you and detail your vehicle. I can't recommend them enough. They come to your place, wherever it is, wherever you are working, living, hanging out, and they'll be outside and they'll detail your vehicle. When they're done, it looks and feels and smells like it's brand new. You can get a new car feel without having to get a new car. And they have ceramic coating and paint protection film that helps prevent scratches and damage from road debris. Plus, you'll say goodbye to the snow and the dirt and the water stains. They have won best in the city because they are best in the city. Keep your car looking like new this winter. Book online today. It is a great gift. I know you're looking for that last-minute gift. On the Spot Automotive Detailing is it. Give them a look. Buy, book online. OTSDetailing.com. It's OTSDetailing.com.
This is Boomer Esiason with the Sports Minute.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfasfa.org. That's nmfasfa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Sports Animal. You get double Monday Night Football tonight. Which one we got? Got 2 games tonight. You get the Bears and Vikings, and you get the Falcons, and you get the Raiders. We get Bears and Vikings? We get Bears and Vikings right here on the Sports Animal. Falcons and Raiders will be over on KTBL. See, I can answer my own questions when you point me to
double dose.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football.
I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, obviously, look, radio guys tend to have a good relationship with the head coaches. Obviously, Idaho's radio guy really likes Jason Eck. Now, if you ask Robert Portnoy, how he felt about Bronco Mendenhall, I'm sure publicly, maybe even privately. I don't know what his relationship was, but I'm sure he'd tell you how great he was. But that was pretty exuberant. That was pretty. I mean, and I didn't know what he was going to say because Dennis and I didn't talk about it. We had not had a conversation about how that was going to go. Your guy James is already out on Jason Eck. James says Jason Eck equals Danny Gonzalez. Jeff, Danny Gonzalez was in the community. Danny Gonzalez bought the students' pizza. That didn't amount to wins or people filling up University Stadium. It's from James. So James is out. Okay. James wasn't going to a game anyway, was he?
James is never going to be in.
Yeah. Terry, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Terry.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, JJ. Best wishes, Jeff, for your holiday season. I know this is your last show of the year. It'll be in the next new year before I get to annoy you in the future. I'll still annoy JJ in the calling in. My son had an interview at South Dakota State a few years back, so he thinks the Lobos did well getting the current coach. Thinks he'll do a good job, fits in well with here. So I do wish him well. I just last week when I sent it, I wasn't anti that. I just thought people got a kick in the teeth and thought, but maybe they're going to fight back and give him a good go. What I thought was cool about the bowl of positives was when the Louisiana coach had said including himself, a lot of his players hadn't been to New Mexico. Yep. I think that's what can be really cool about the bowl games, experiencing something new and different, and besides the game and all that, and that can be really the positive part. Maybe even after the first year or later in the week, I just wonder, if you want to close down the transfer portal for a while, but what about coaches? Making them wait.
It's a really fair conversation, Terry, and it's got to be part of the conversation. I don't know how because you're firing coaches mid-season, right? And so the cycle starts, and it's a really, really, really fair point, and I'm not sure how you relegate that.
Yeah, because my son was loyal. He had 3 coaches in 5 years at KU, and he learned a tough lesson, but he wanted to be a Jayhawk. He played a lot under Turner Gill. Charlie Weiss comes in, and he gets relegated to special teams. So it does happen. So when you think of some kids want to go somewhere else thinking, how am I going to be accepted by the new coach?
Yep.
That's part of the process. But, Jeff, enjoy your family. Give Addie a hug for me. I know I'm a complete stranger, but enjoy that. I hope the bowl is awesome and all that. I hope to make it out there if my son makes it to town. But you guys take care.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate you. Ken, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Ken.
Now that the thing that I felt that Lobo should do is pick a head coach. And then after that, we'll just kind of see what he does. And so that was good that he's a head coach. But also, Lobo fans that are not, happy or they're not satisfied, look at his track record. He did exactly at Idaho what he potentially could do here. There's really no difference. Idaho is they don't have the resources. They don't really have the fan base. They don't have NIL money. And look what he did in 3 years. So he's done it before. So experience means a lot. Do we want a coach that has New Mexico ties but doesn't have the experience? Or do we want someone that has no New Mexico ties but he has the experience of building programs? And just like that gentleman said, the radio guy, he's like, no, why not? He thinks the Lobos in this kind of weekend, quote-unquote, mountain competitive to win the conference. That's the way he's looking at it. And us, we're all jaded. We're like, it's just us. We can't do it. Eck's not here to say, we're just going to get 4th and 5th every year. He's here to win this thing. And he did it at Idaho to the fact, maybe not win the conference or win a national championship, but look what he did. So what do I want? I definitely want a coach, not that, he wants to be here. I'd rather have 2 to 3 years of winning and then he leaves than a Gonzalez type. No offense to Gonzalez. He's a wonderful human being. But be here 3, 4, 5 years and lose all those years, but he's loyal to the program. I'd rather have a headhunter that comes in, wins 3 or 4 years, and he's gone, and we have enjoyed 2 to 4 years. That's where I'm at.
Fair, Ken.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
you. I think that's where most people are. Oh, it's a stepping stone. He left. Look, if this guy comes in, gets you to a postseason this year and competes for a conference championship for 2 years after that, and bounces to get paid, I think you're going to be good with that, and your program's going to be a good place, and you bring in somebody new, or maybe it's his offensive coordinator, or I don't know, man. Who knows? I like 2 years ago, were we sitting here thinking, all right, Bronco Mendenhall's coming in, Bronco Mendenhall's coming here? No way. And then he's going to be here for a year, and then he's going to break your heart, and then everybody's going to the portal, and then you're going to hire a guy from Idaho. No, right?
I'm right there with Ken, and that's been my point. Is everyone is all worried, like, oh, they're just going to come here and use us. Yes, that would be a step forward. This team has had 2 winning seasons since 2007. There's been no coach that's used as a stepping stone. There's been coaches that have come in and coaches that have got fired. A stepping stone would be a step in the right direction for local football.
It'd be wonderful, right? And again, I think maybe Franchione, if you want to say, was a stepping stone. Okay.
Yeah, but at least he left you 9-4 with a bowl appearance.
Mm-hmm. Your first bowl appearance since the 60s in 1997.
Ask Aggie fans about the 2 years prior to this season. You'll sign up for that all the time out there.
Aggie fans took a 2-year run where they went to a bowl game and won it, played in the conference championship game, went to another bowl game. It had been a long time. In fact, I want to say 59 and 60, the last time they went to 2 bowls in a row. It was fun, wasn't it? Back to a 3-win season this year. But I mean, was it worth it? The answer is 100% yes, right? And it's proven to you that it can be done. That's the other thing I think for New Mexico State fan. Well, I mean, it's proven somebody can come in there and do it there. Right? And yeah, did he leave? For whatever reasons he left? Yeah. I think look, again, I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan. Maybe for your sanity, I don't know. Hopefully you heard some stuff today that makes you feel better. He'll have a press conference tomorrow and introduce himself to the greater community. But share the conversation. It's over at sportsanimalabq.com. Click on the opening drive. I think the answer is give him a chance. Dude who wants to be here. Hopefully you want him to be here. Thank you to Jason Eck, the new Lobo football coach. He was with us today. Nick Carparelli is the executive director of bowl season. Dennis Patchen, the voice of the Idaho Vandals. Jim Rome show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards. After that, 2 Men On is here at 4. Then you get Monday Night Football. Adrian, great work over on the TV side. Big day for you.
Huge day.
Dude, I think I'm done for the year. Can I come on your show over the next few? Can I come on?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to call in. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and come out to see a bowl game on December 28th, please. I think you'll have a great time. Go to NewMexicoBowl.com and get tickets. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll see you later.
Putting it off. Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
New Mexico celebrates the holiday season with the 19th Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Our state's premier annual sports event is Saturday, December 28th at University Stadium. College football's postseason with New Mexico flavor. All your info is at NewMexicoBowl.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
to make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
The Yellow Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yellow Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.